students, today we will discuss an important chapter of consumption, that is consumer's equilibrium. We can study consumer's equilibrium, the conditions of consumer's equilibrium, either through utility analysis approach or through indifference analysis approach. But in this part, we will study how consumer can attain equilibrium through utility approach. And our study is confined to two goods only. So we will study how a consumer can attain equilibrium when he consumes only one good or purchases only one good, and how he attains equilibrium when he purchases two goods. So let us first study what is equilibrium, right? The term equilibrium literally means a state of balance or stability or a position of no change. It is the position from where the consumer does not want any change, because in this position he gets maximum satisfaction. His total utility becomes maximum at this point. So it is a state of balance. This is a position where there is stability of the consumer, and the consumer does not want any further change from that position. Consumer's equilibrium refers to a situation wherein a consumer gets maximum satisfaction out of his given income and he has no tendency to make any change in his existing expenditure. So, what is consumer's equilibrium? It is a situation wherein a consumer gets maximum satisfaction from his given income. Out of his given income, how he can get maximum satisfaction, and what should be the expenditure pattern, how he has to spend his money income in consuming either one good or two goods so that he can get maximum satisfaction. What are the conditions of equilibrium? The consumer is in equilibrium when given his income and market price. He plans his expenditure on different goods and services in such a manner that he maximizes his total satisfaction. So, the expenditure pattern of every consumer should be such that his total satisfaction will be maximum at that point. When income and market prices are given, within his limited income and given market price, what should be his purchasing behavior? What should be his behavior in the market? What should be his behavior when he goes to purchase a commodity or purchase more than one commodities, so that within his limited income, within his limited expenditure, he can get maximum satisfaction? That is the motto, that is the objective of every consumer. So every consumer plans to his spend his income on different goods and services in such a manner that he maximizes his total satisfaction. Consumer's equilibrium refers to the condition under which a consumer is in equilibrium, right? Consumer's equilibrium always refers to the conditions in which conditions a consumer can get maximum total satisfaction, so that he will not want any further change from that position as he is in equilibrium. There are conditions under which a consumer is in equilibrium in case of a single good, and conditions under which he or she is in equilibrium in case of two goods. Let us first study how a consumer can attain equilibrium in case of a single good. Consumer's equilibrium in case of a single good. At the time of purchasing a single good, we must judge regarding the benefit and cost of the good. So, students, what is benefit and what is cost? Let us discuss first. When we consume goods and services, we get some utility. And that utility, that satisfaction is the benefit by purchasing a good. And what is the cost of the good? Cost means it is the price of the good. It is the payment that we have to pay for the good. Right? To get the good, when we purchase the good, we have to pay their price. That is the cost. And after purchasing the good, when we consume them, we get utility from them, and that is the benefit. By purchasing a good, we get satisfaction from it. What is satisfaction? In economic term, it is utility. And by paying for it, we have to lose some money. When we pay for it, we cannot get a commodity or good freely. We have to pay for them. So when we pay for it, we have to lose some money. We will buy a good only when the benefit from getting a good is more than or equal to the cost. We will buy a good only when the benefit from getting a good is more than or equal to the cost. Here, benefit means marginal utility and the cost means the price he or she has to pay. Right? Is it not? When we go to buy a good, we have to consider what is the benefit, what amount of benefit we are getting from the good, and what amount of cost we have to bear, how much of money we have to pay, and how much of utility we get from that commodity. So here benefit means marginal utility and the cost means the price he or she has to pay. A consumer will buy only when the benefit or marginal utility is greater than or equal to cost or the price. Right? Benefit means marginal utility in economic term and cost means price. So when marginal utility becomes either greater than or equal to the price, then only a consumer will buy the good. But when we go to decide how much of the quantity we have to purchase, we have to purchase up to that unit where marginal utility becomes equal to its price. You see, students, when we go to purchase a commodity, in our mind, we fix a price which we are ready to pay for that commodity. That is the marginal utility. Right? Marginal utility in terms of money, in terms of rupee, that we want to pay for the commodity. But actually, what we pay is the price. But actually, what we pay is the price. But what we are ready to pay, that is the marginal utility. So, when we decided to pay a fixed amount and we purchase at a fixed price, what we decide to pay when that is greater than or equal to price, then we will buy the good from the market. So when we go to decide how much of the quantity we have to purchase, how much quantity we will purchase, we have to purchase up to that unit where marginal utility becomes equal to its price. We will go on purchasing more and more amounts of the good as long as the marginal utility is greater than price. But when the marginal utility of the commodity is equal to the price of the commodity, that is the point where we have to stop our purchasing process or we have to stop our consumption, because at that point only we can get maximum satisfaction. Remember it. When we are going to purchase a good, two things we have to decide, right? They are: one, what benefit we are going to derive from purchasing a good. What benefit we are going to derive from purchasing that good, and what is the cost we have to pay, or what are we going to lose by purchasing a good. These two things are to be kept in mind: what benefit we get from a commodity and what price we have to pay for the commodity. We will purchase the good only when the benefit is greater than the cost. So that means when marginal utility becomes greater than the price, only at that time, up to that time, we will purchase. When an example is given here, for example, when we are going to market, if we are ready to pay a maximum of rupees 130 for a good, as we are getting a benefit worth of maximum rupees 130 from it. I've already told you that when we are going to market to purchase a particular commodity, in our mind it comes that we will pay this much for this commodity. But if its price is more than that amount, then we will not purchase. But if the price is less than that amount, what we are ready to pay, what we are ready to pay, if the price is less than that, then we will purchase. Right? So this is given here. For example, when we are going to market, if we are ready to pay a maximum of rupees 130 for a good, as we are getting a benefit worth of maximum rupees 130 from it, if it is a price, if its price is rupees 130 or less, we will buy. Right? We are ready to pay rupees 130 because we are getting benefit, or we are getting marginal utility of maximum rupees 130 from it. So if its price is rupees 130, either 130 or less than 130, then only we will buy it. When its price is rupees 140 in the market, rupees 140, that is greater than rupees 130, we will not buy it, as the satisfaction derived from it is less than its price. Right? We are getting satisfaction of rupees 130, but when we are asked to pay rupees 140, why we will buy it? No, no rational consumer will be ready to purchase it. We will buy a good or commodity only when the benefit we derive from it is greater than or equal to its price. Right? When will we buy a good? We will buy a good only when the benefit which we derive from it, from the commodity, is greater than or equal to its price, or we can say when benefit is greater than or equal to cost, or economically, in economics, in economic words, we can say marginal utility is greater than or equal to price, then only we will buy a commodity. We will buy a commodity. We will purchase a commodity. Only if the condition is that marginal utility is greater than or equal to price. A consumer will buy up to the amount where marginal utility is equal to the price, or MU is equal to price. So we are ready to buy a commodity, or we are ready to purchase a commodity only when marginal utility from the commodity is greater than or equal to the price of the commodity. It is the condition. But up to what point, up to what amount we will buy the commodity? Up to what amount? Up to the amount where MU is equal to price, or marginal utility is equal to price. When marginal utility and price of the a particular commodity becomes equal to each other, then at that point we will stop our purchasing process, and up to that point only we will buy. Up to what point? Up to the point where MU is equal to price. Suppose a consumer gets rupees 130 utils of utility from the first unit, rupees 120 utils of utility from the second unit, and rupees 110 utils of utility from third unit, and rupees 100 utils of utility from the fourth unit of the good. And the price of the commodity in the market is rupees 100. Here you see consumer is ready to pay rupees 130 when he is going to purchase the first unit of the commodity. That means the consumer gets rupees 130 utils of utility from first unit, and he is ready to pay rupees 120 for the second unit. So he gets, why he is ready to pay rupees 120 for the second unit? Because he is getting rupees 120 utils of utility from that unit. And similarly, when he gets rupees 110 utils of utility from the third unit and rupees 100 utils of utility from the fourth unit, mark here. And if the price of the commodity in the market is rupees 100, he will purchase only 4 units of the commodity. As your MU is equal to price, it means the marginal utility of the commodity becomes equal to the price of the commodity. Right? The price of fourth unit, price of the commodity is rupees 100 per unit, and the marginal utility from the fourth unit is rupees 100 utils. So here marginal utility and price becomes equal, and the consumer will purchase only 4 units of the commodity, as here mu is equal to price. He will stop purchasing of any more of the good whose marginal utility is less than 100 utils, because his cost will be more than benefit. When the consumer gets marginal utility which is less than 100 utils and price is 100 rupees, he gets less utility by paying more. So nobody will try to purchase that unit of commodity where benefit or marginal utility is less than the price. So consumer's equilibrium in purchase of a single good is attained only when marginal utility in terms of money is equal to price, or we can say MUX is equal to PX, where X is the good to be purchased. That means marginal utility of commodity X is equal to price of commodity X. Then only the consumer's equilibrium in purchase of single good is attained. Next, you see the diagram given below. Just to clarify the equilibrium condition in case of single good, right? In the diagram, MUX is the marginal utility curve of the commodity X. Mark here. MUX given in the side diagram. MUX line, it is the marginal utility curve of commodity X. Each point on MUX curve shows marginal utility of X in terms of money. PPX line indicates market price of X. PPX line mark, which is parallel to OX line. It is fixed line. PPX line indicates market price of X that remains constant, and hence PPX is horizontal to the OX line. It is parallel to OX line. Point E is the equilibrium point where the price he is willing to pay is equal to the price he actually pays. The consumer buys OQ unit of X at OP price, which is fixed for all units of X. In all units before Q, he purchases OQ quantity of that good, because at this point MUX becomes equal to PX. But we know that before Q, MUX is greater than PX. MUX is greater than PX. He gets more utility than the price. So he gains and buys more. In all units after Q, PX is greater than MUX. Just the opposite happens. In all points after Q, PX is greater than MUX and he loses. Right? Therefore, he buys OQ corresponding to equilibrium point E. Right? E is the equilibrium point. Why it is the equilibrium point? Because here MUX is equal to PX. Marginal utility of the commodity becomes equal to price. So this is the equilibrium point. Corresponding to the equilibrium point, OQ quantity is the equilibrium quantity he has to purchase. And APE, mark the above triangle. It is in triangular form, APE, right? It is consumer surplus. It is consumer surplus, surplus of utility which gains. Next, we will discuss how to attain equilibrium in case of two goods. Consumer's equilibrium in case of two goods. Suppose the consumer buys two goods X and Y. If he purchases only X, two goods he is going to buy. Two goods he is going to purchase from the market. If he purchases only X, what is the equilibrium condition? As we have already discussed. The equilibrium condition is mu x is equal to px. And if he buys only y, what is the equilibrium condition? Equilibrium condition is mu y is equal to py. Marginal utility of y is equal to price of y. Right? So we can write mu x is equal to px, marginal utility of x is equal to px, or we can write this as mu x upon px is equal to 1. Mu x upon px is equal to 1. That is equation 1. Right? And mu y is equal to py, or we can write mu y upon py is equal to 1. It is equation 2. Right? From 1 and 2 we get mu x upon px is equal to mu y upon py, and this is the first condition of consumer's equilibrium. Mu x upon px is equal to 1. Mu y upon py is equal to 1. So naturally, by combining both the equations, we will get mu x upon px is equal to mu y upon py. This is the first condition of consumer's equilibrium. The second condition is that per rupee marginal utility, very important term, mark it, per rupee marginal utility. What is per rupee marginal utility, students? Per rupee marginal utility means, I will give you one example. Suppose a consumer gets 10 utils of utility by spending 5 rupees. If the price is 5 rupees and from it, by spending this amount, he gets 10 utils of utility. So per rupee marginal utility, for 5, from 5 rupees he get 10 utils of utility. So what is per rupee marginal utility? That is 10 by 5, that is 2. ठीक है ना? Right. So the second condition is that per rupee marginal utility from spending on each good must be the same. Per rupee marginal utility from spending on each good must be the same. In other words, mu x upon px is equal to mu y upon py is equal to per rupee marginal utility from each good. Remember it. This is the condition. Mu x upon px must be equal to mu y upon py must be equal to per rupee marginal utility from each good, or mum, marginal utility of money, which is stated as the condition for maximum satisfaction in the law of equimarginal utility or equi per rupee marginal utility. In our law of equimarginal utility, which we have already discussed in our previous chapter, what we know? That a consumer can get maximum satisfaction by consuming either two commodities or more than two commodities at the point where mu x upon px is equal to mu y upon py is equal to mum, which is the condition written here. So in the law of equimarginal utility, or which is known as equi per rupee marginal utility, it is better you can say it, equi per rupee marginal utility, you can easily understand. What is equimarginal utility means? Equi per rupee marginal utility. So it is also stated in as the condition for maximum satisfaction in the law of equimarginal utility, and it is the second condition which combine the first condition, that is mu x upon px is must be equal to mu y upon py. One more thing added, that is mu x upon px is equal to mu y upon py is equal to per rupee marginal utility from each good. It is a condition of consumers in equilibrium in case of two goods. As consumption of good is increased, marginal utility falls. It is already known from the law of diminishing marginal utility. From the law of diminishing marginal utility, we know that when a consumer goes on consuming more and more units of a commodity, gets less and less satisfaction out of it from every successive unit. So we know this, right? Suppose MUX upon PX is greater than MUY upon PY, or we can say per rupee marginal utility from X is more than per rupee marginal utility from Y. Here the consumer will divert expenditure on Y to expenditure on X. As commodity Y gives the consumer less satisfaction, less utility or less marginal utility, the consumer will try to divert expenditure on Y to expenditure on X. Instead of purchasing more units of X, he will purchase less units of X and more units of he will purchase less units of Y and more units of X. When he purchases more units of X, it means marginal utility will decline of commodity X will decline. When he purchases less units of Y, it means marginal utility of Y will rise, right? And the equilibrium condition will automatically come to exist in this case. Hence, in case of two goods, a consumer attains state of equilibrium when marginal utilities of both the goods he consumes are equal. That is, marginal utility of good X must be equal to marginal utility of good Y, assuming the price of each good is the same. When price of each good is the same, we can say that the condition of equilibrium is MUX must be equal to MUY. That is sufficient condition. But if the price of the two goods are different, suppose the price of commodity X or good X is 1 rupee per unit, the price of commodity Y is 2 rupee per unit. In this case, the condition for equilibrium is MUX upon PX is equal to MUY upon PY is equal to MUM. Right? Marginal utility of X upon price of X must be equal to marginal utility of Y upon price of Y must be equal to marginal utility of money. So this is all about the equilibrium condition or the conditions for attaining equilibrium in case of a single good and in case of two goods. So this is all for today. We will discuss the next chapter and uh, go to discuss the concept of demand and factors determining demand in our next class. Till then, goodbye. All the best.